Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about one of the major elephants in the room, especially when it comes to online advertising, and that is Amazon's advertising or DSP network. Okay, just last year, Amazon announced that they had generated over $30 billion in advertising revenue alone. Now, why is this significant? Amazon owns a host of properties. Part of the Amazon family is obviously Amazon.com. You have IMDb.com, you have Kindle, you have Fire TV, you have Prime, you have Audible, you have Whole Foods. I mean, they're big, okay? And the very fact that, I mean, it kind of makes sense that they would get into advertising anyways, considering the amount of revenue that is out there in the market. For comparison's sake, Google, or I should say Alphabet, about 75 to 80% of their yearly revenues are generated through advertising. So last year alone, Google generated about $180 billion from advertising revenue, and that's about 75 to 80% of their total revenue. Amazon generated $31.2 billion in advertising revenue last year. That's not that far away. And it's just, I mean, they're just getting started with it, right? So for now, that $31.2 billion only accounts for about 7% of, the total revenue. The other advantage that, Amazon has over, let's say, a Google or some of the other, major hitters is the fact that they have a combination of both online and offline resources that they can use to target, customers. And with the way that they're going about across the world, trying to purchase brick and mortar stores and other e-commerce websites in other countries, their breadth is just increasing. So yes, Google offers you, some amazing targeting. There's absolutely no doubt, but Amazon definitely, has the upper hand here simply because of the online, offline, or the O2O, model that they currently have. And considering the fact that they're just getting started in the game, and we've seen Amazon do some really big things, and they're not the type of company that thinks what happens in 6 months or a year. I mean, they think like ahead, 5 years, 10 years. I think AWS is probably a perfect example of that vision, right? I mean, AWS is basically a juggernaut right now. I mean, I mean, to me, the idea of even setting up AWS or Amazon Web Services to help other companies host all their websites or data online when it first came out was just genius. I mean, right now, yes, you have Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure and everybody trying to play catch up, but I mean, AWS is basically the granddaddy of all of them, and it kind of shows, right? I mean, it is the biggest revenue generator for Amazon, and if you just look at the kind of growth that it showed um, last quarter, like Q4 2021, AWS alone showed a growth of $5 billion. Um, you know, I think. Advertising growth was by $2.4 billion. Third party seller services grew by $3 billion. Subscription services, basically Amazon Prime, Audible, all these other services that they have, that added another $1 billion. So, but then AWS was the granddaddy with $5 billion in growth, and I mean, yeah, that's just amazing vision. But I kind of digress from the whole idea of Amazon's, DSP. Considering the fact that, yes, of course, Google, does know a lot about you, where you go, I mean, basically the amount of data that they collect on their consumers is insane. But if you think about the amount of data that Amazon has collected across the world over the years. I mean, don't forget, Amazon began in 1994, and that's like a good 4 or 5 years before even Google was around, right? So the amount of data, and most importantly, spending data. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're trying to target, of course, you focus on the audience that you think is going to purchase your product, but then obviously, how much money do they have? How much do they spend? How often do they spend? There's so many different factors that come into play, and Amazon has been collecting this data for what, like 25 years now. So I mean, it only makes sense that if you have a product to sell, or you want to get eyeballs, considering the number of views Amazon.com and its sister websites get across the world. I mean, there's a reason why, they're among the most visited websites on the internet, right? Um, so the number of eyeballs that they actually get, it makes perfect sense that now they have these offerings, kind of like how Google has had for a very long time, with AdSense, and their other display networks and whatnot. So now Amazon itself is now providing the opportunity for advertisers to push their product across all their websites, both online and offline, through pay per click or CPC campaigns, basically. And when it comes to the types of ads that you can run, I mean, one is, okay, the traditional Amazon ads, where you do sponsored products, you do brand campaigns, you have product display ads, you have video ads, you have the ads on the stores, and of course the ones on the websites themselves. But then when it comes to the DSP itself, you have static ads, you have dynamic ads, you have video ads, you have OTT video ads. So I mean, they could just keep building this out. I mean, what's amazing to me is I think this is the data that we have from like the last like 16 to 18 months, so on what they've been up to, right? And now that it's out in the open, now it's become a specific line item for Amazon, right? Advertising itself, it's no longer under the other category. It's going to be very interesting to see, how Amazon takes this, considering the advantages that they have and the amount of data that they have access to and have collected over the years as well. The other interesting thing is, now that privacy is definitely a major concern with GPDR and all these, rules and regulations coming in. Once again, advantage, Amazon, because they've already collected so much data. They already have, tools running and understanding, what consumers, spend their money on, how often they spend it on, what kind of products they purchase. So they're already, very well aware of it. And, even though when it comes to, these kind of privacy rules, the very fact that a lot of their, um, most of the people who engage with Amazon, of course, through the desktop and the website and whatnot, but then everything is on the app. And once you have an app and you incorporate everything into it, at that point, it doesn't really matter, whether you have cookies, don't have cookies, everything is there within the app itself, right? So, um, if I were Facebook, I would be worried. If I were Google, I would definitely be worried. All the other major guys that are out there in the market that are generating a major portion of their yearly income and revenue through advertising, they should really be taking notice of what Amazon's going to keep coming up with, because this is I mean, it's almost like this is war. um, and may the strongest man win. I mean, that's may the strongest person win. So I think that's what it comes down to. But yeah, this was just something that I have been thinking about putting together for a while. So thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.